Hey guys, this is Lady F, and I'm coming here on the last day of 2024 to let everyone in the community know that if you're struggling um, in silence with mental illness or things that um, are still stigmatized today in society to an extent, that there is help there and that you're seen. Um, This was a hell of a year, man. What a hell of a year. And I think, given the structure of our society, we're just going to see more depression. It seems to be increasing, which is sad. Um, but it doesn't mean that it's not preventable. I think the environment that we find ourselves in, like things that are bigger than me, okay, that may contribute to that. But I'm not there to solve those problems. And you can't either. But what we do have control over is our internal state and staying connected to our true selves. And so, as a focus coming into 2025, I really want to emphasize to everyone, don't forget who you are. Don't forget your values. Don't forget the things that we read about in comic books that we believe so passionately in, like justice and truth and the pursuit of knowledge or good against all odds. Try and live that, even if it's in the simple acts. And for those of you out there that are suffering and you have no one that you can really, no traditional family, you can build your own. It's tough. But just because they're not your blood doesn't mean that there aren't people out there who are going to love you and appreciate you for every aspect that you are. And those are your people. You know, somebody told me the other day, like, I want your light to shine. Don't dim your light. We don't say that a lot to each other often. And, it's like, I don't need permission, but to just be acknowledged that this is an area or a place where it's okay for you to just be you. That's family, man. And those are the people you need in your lives. And the year's probably going to be tough. 2020, 2025, hell, I don't know what it entails. But I do know one thing that I can control. I can stay connected to myself and true to who I am. And I want to maintain the connections to other people who value me for me being my authentic self. You guys need friends and you guys need people in your lives who value you and your authentic self. This year, this upcoming year, like I said, try to stay connected to who you are, grounded to the things that you value most in life. Try to maintain and nourish and put energy into the connections you have with others that you value. Because the only thing we have in this life, the only thing worth trying to preserve is our relationships with one another. That's all that matters. Who we have. We're social creatures. We're just monkeys looking for love. And so, like for the tip of an iceberg, there's so much more that we don't see. Humans are the same. So being a little more gentle, a little kinder, or maybe not so quick to judge, I think, it serves us all. It serves us all well. And I've had a good year despite the world around me maybe not things not turning out the way I'd like to see, or my idealized version of how society should be. But I've had a good year controlling things that are within, my perimeter of cause and effect that I can actually impact. I have learned to lobby for myself. I'm in a new position and now. The last position I had, man, it taught me a lot. It was not the best experience in terms of leadership or lack thereof. But it also taught me, like, boundaries and things that I'll never, ever accept again. I'll never let another human being talk to me in certain ways that I was previously talked to in the past. And that's a function of growth, and that's a function of knowing your worth and walking away when it's not worth it anymore. And it's scary as hell, and you feel insecure. But man, the level of agency I felt after doing that, I changed my situation. And if I can change my situation, you guys can. 'Cause I feel like a bum, man. I am But that's my own little battle, right? And we all have those little battles going on inside our heads while also having to interact with one another and consider each other's wants and needs. It's just, it can be overwhelming, especially in times of environmental stress. And I would necessarily say that the situation we find ourselves as citizens in America is a stressful one. Uh, it ain't the 50s no more. So I'm not trying to be political one way or the other. Everybody out there has their own struggle, regardless of their party or their identity or their color or creed. Uh, and remember, it's just so good to remember that. All we have are the connections we make. So moving into this new year, all of you who are feeling a little vulnerable or a lot of vulnerable or feeling isolated, there are a couple of things. Find out who you are again, reconnect to yourself, learn to enjoy your own company, but also start building relationships. And it sucks. It sucks because here are the necessary requirements generally to make friends. The fastest way is to be in an environment beyond your control and experience those adverse experiences. And that's kind of wild. But that will bring people together closer than anything. You talk about boot camp or something like armies, or even in school, your classmates or the buddies in the foxhole with you. Those are lifelong bonds, man. Sometimes, right? But I guess what I'm trying to say is that you got to be vulnerable. To make friends, you have to be vulnerable. And that sucks. We don't like doing that in America. We like to be tough and not open up. I sure as shit don't like to be vulnerable, but I know that, like, that's the only way I can walk forward, and that's the only way I have become a better version of myself, is like spilling my guts. Now, that not necessarily means I'm not going to tell you everything, but suffice it to say that I would have never imagined myself making a video like this 10, 15 years ago. And here I find myself. Um, this is my way of reaching out to try and connect with those of you in the comic community and anybody else who sees this. Um, don't forget who you are. Cling to those values that you hold true and foster the connections that you have with the other people in your lives, the people who value you, the people who crave your authenticity and don't avoid it. That's your family. And with that, I hope you guys have a hell of an awesome 2025. And remember, your locus of control is this. You guys be safe. Bye.